2022 is coming to an end, and usually you're going to see me do a top 10 best and top 10 worst. But this year has been freaking awesome in the horror genre. Seriously, this year is going to go down in history as one of the best years for horror movies, and I love it because I was a huge horror fan. When I make my top 10 best list, I can't include so many horror movies because I feel like I need to add more regular movies. So this year, I'm going to do my favorite top 10 horror movies of 2022 because I just had to. And if you really like this, the first time I've ever done this, if you liked me doing this, I can do this every year, but this year I had to do it, and it's just so many movies, guys. So these are my top 10 favorite movies. This is just my opinion. You could be entirely different. Some people find scary stuff funny. Some people find funny stuff scary. Horror is very subjective. This is just my top 10 favorite. I hope your guys' list is different. If it's the same, cool. Leave them below. I want to read them all. I seriously want to see what you guys think. But let's get started with my favorite movies of the horror genre of the year. Number 10. Coming in the 10th spot will be Incantation. This is a horror movie released on Netflix this year, and a lot of people did not watch this movie. Maybe because it's not in English, but either way, English or not, this is one of the scariest movies of the year, hands down. Seriously, found footage is such a scary horror genre. For this movie to really just go back to it and make it scary again, it's got some big legs to do that, and it's very frightening. Seriously, I cannot recommend this movie more enough. It's on Netflix right now, and that ending will leave you very much disturbed. Number 9. Coming in the 9th spot is a movie that might make you very hungry in the wrong way possible. Number 9 is Fresh, starring Daisy Edgar Jones and Sebastian Stan. These two are freaking great in this movie, especially Daisy Edgar Jones, which, yes, I know she had a great year, but she in this movie is a great female lead, and Sebastian Stan is despicable evil in this movie, and the movie has a great dark comedy satire to it. It's also very much in the very much gore fest by not showing you a ton of guts, but it's definitely there. It's a little bit out there, but it's a ton of fun, and I definitely recommend it. It's on Hulu right now. Number 8. Number 8's a movie that a lot of you probably have seen, and it really shocked me how much money this movie made. Number 8 is Smile. I actually saw this movie 3 times in theaters with 3 different friends and 1 by myself, and every time I went and saw it, the friend next to me would jump, and there was one incident where my friend literally grabbed onto my arm and was very much scared. She was frightened by this movie, and I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. For real, seriously, a marketed R-rated horror movie to be this good and have a great amount of jump scares, it seriously might become a little bit of a cult classic because how much money it made. Wouldn't shock me if there's a sequel, but if you've not seen Smile, I think it's on Paramount Plus. It's coming on Blu-ray soon, but this is a really entertaining horror movie. Number 7. Now listen, coming in number 7 is a horror movie. A lot of you might say comedy first, but it is a horror movie. Number 7 is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I had a ton of fun with this movie, and it actually helped on rewatch. I saw this movie again in theaters with a group of friends. I didn't plan on it, but I really just enjoyed the mystery aspect. And in my review, I do say, obviously, there is an ending with the murderer's twist or anything. If you've seen the movie, then you know I was lying because I didn't want to spoil the twist in this movie. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is so much fun with this cast. It's hilarious in its satire, and overall a really fun horror comedy for this year. And I wish we get more of these movies because this is a great example of using comedy, satire, and using good stuff in the world happening right now to use horror, and this is a perfect example of it. Number 6. Coming in number 6 is a movie that a lot of you probably will have higher on your list, but I had a ton of fun with this movie. Number 6 is Terrifier 2. Wow, Lauren Lavera as our female lead was a badass, and Art the Clown, he seriously might just punched a ticket into history of horror genre of famous murderers because Art the Clown is a murderer in this movie. The gore, the blood, this movie has it all, and it's so much better than that first movie. The characters are better, the story is better. It is a very long movie, but in the end, Terrifier 2 was a movie that stuck with me, and it made a great ton of money for what the budget was, and it was probably the biggest hit this Halloween season besides Smile. Terrifier 2 is seriously might be one of the best horror sequels ever made. Number 5. In the 5th spot, in all honesty, I have seen this movie the most out of this entire list. Number 5 is Scream, or Scream 5, or Scream 2022, whatever you want to call it. The new Scream movie really struck a chord in me. I enjoyed this movie. This movie is one of those movies where I can just put it on and watch it. I am cozy around this movie. I loved seeing the returning old characters. I love the new characters. I love how they drive it in the ground saying, hey, requels, sequels, these are things in Hollywood now, and the movie does it itself and it plays on itself. This new Scream was so much fun, and I really just enjoyed the new characters. And it makes me excited to see Scream 6. And with all the characters that are returning in Scream 6, it makes me a little nervous, but in the end, Scream 5 was a huge shock for me. Number 4. Even though it's coming in the 4th spot, this movie will be remembered by me for a very long time because the Twitter account that ran the ads for this movie ran a quote for me on their ads, and that is number 4 is The Black Phone. This movie was awesome. Seriously. Now, I actually might prefer Sinister over this movie, but after rewatching this movie, I just enjoyed Ethan Hawke's character in this movie. Seriously, he is frightening in this movie, and the children in this movie, that little girl, the sister in this movie, seriously such a talent right there. I cannot wait to see what she does next. But The Black Phone really is just a good, old-styled Stephen King horror vibe, and I just enjoyed everything about it. Seriously, the style, the direction, the writing, and Ethan Hawke in general, The Black Phone really might be a classic. Number 3. Alright, I'm gonna cheat with number 3. I'm sorry. I can't just pick one. I have to pick both. I'm choosing 2 movies for my 3rd spot. And I was thinking, what? How does that work? Well, number 3, I'm gonna pick X and Pearl. These 2 movies came out in the same year and they are related to one another. One's an original pornography made with a horror genre and it's awesome. X is so much fun and it's so bloody. It feels like a 1980s, 70s horror movie. It looks, the grimy look of it, the gore, and just overall the performances in this movie was very, very well done. Speaking of performances, Mia Goth as Pearl in this prequel that came out in September, she's gonna get nominated for an Oscar. Hands down, she is going to get nominated for an Oscar. It wouldn't even shock me if she won it. She is that good in this movie. Pearl, the performance of Mia Goth, is Academy Award winning. She better be nominated, but both these movies together make one great 1 and 2 punch, and it makes me really excited for the 3rd one that coming out next year, I think. But either way, my 3rd spot goes to X and Pearl. Number 2. In my 2nd spot for my favorite horror movie of the year is kind of a controversial one. And the only reason I say that is because, in my personal opinion, I don't see this movie directly as a horror movie, but everyone on Twitter, every person that's reviewed this movie considers it a horror movie. And you know what? I'm not gonna argue with it because this movie is gonna be in my top 10 favorite of the year, and right now it's my number 2 in my favorite horror movie of the year. Number 2 is Jordan Peele's Nope. This is a movie right up my alley. It's Spielberg-esque, mixed in with that horror. Like I said, the gore that is being rained down on the house in that one scene is a horror scene, and that is the main reason why my nerves got so shot up in this movie. Everything else about this movie I consider more of a sci-fi movie, but in the end, this movie is just up my alley with the direction, the score, the characters, and the overall story of what this thing in the sky coming down on this farm. Nope is a movie that you're gonna see in my top 10 best of the year list, and this movie is just seriously a movie I love rewatching on 4K. I love this movie. Number 1. And finally, my number 1 spot. What is my favorite horror movie of the year 2022? The year that's gonna go down in history as one of the best. For me, seriously, Nope is one of my favorite movies of the year. Probably in the top 3, we'll see. But when it comes to my favorite horror movie of the year, scary movie. What movie am I going to show my friends that this year said this is a good scary movie? There was no question for me, honestly. My number 1 favorite horror movie of the year of 2022 goes to Barbarian. This is a classic in the making, and it makes me so sad it's only on HBO Max, but if you've seen Barbarian, you know how freaking crazy this movie is, and its psychopathic ways of showing off a storyline, going back in time, present day, different formats of shooting this movie, but in the end, just the overall scary tone. This is the movie I'm gonna say when someone says, what's a good scary movie to watch? I'm probably gonna pick Barbarian for you to watch. This is just a original idea. It feels fresh. The performances, Bill Skarsgård, Justin Long. I mean, seriously, this is a original story in the horror genre, and it's very creepy. It's also very funny in some ways, and in the end, it's really fucked up. And that is why it's my #1 favorite horror movie of the year 2022. After a great year, this is my favorite. And with all that being said, that is my top 10 favorite horror movies of the year 2022. What is yours? There's so many I didn't even mention. Seriously, there was honorable mentions that I even considered talking about, but this video would be way too long. And all I gotta say is, if you don't agree with my list, totally fine. Totally get it. It's your opinion. Some of these movies you find very funny, but I want to leave your list down below. I would like to read them. I would like to know what scared you this year, because this year was really freaking good, guys. And guys enjoyed this list review, and let me know if you wanted me to do this from now on yearly. I like doing it. It was very different for me to do. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.